old do you think you were when you realized that you wanted to own a business? When you realized that you wanted to work for yourself and yourself only?
I never knew what I was. I was an entrepreneur at heart, but I didn't realize it at all. I think work ethic has a lot to do with it. Not everyone should own a business. It's really, really hard to make yourself accountable when you're tired and you don't want to do something. Remember how many hands touched that product before you received it. More people are jumping on the train just because of their own health. My biggest challenge was my own self, my own ego, and knowing if I could be capable of doing a good enough job or even succeeding. What if I failed, and would that be okay? Work from back to front. So once I understood where I wanted to go, it helped me figure out the steps of how to get there. And I realized I wanted to give back, and I wanted to change some little things that I could do in my everyday life with my zero plastic use. It took years for me to figure out something that my purpose that I align to, because you can't just start a business if you don't align to the business. So I'm not scared. I believe that I can still succeed, but they definitely you have to be aware of them. And eventually it compounds. And what happens is it's so small, the body's trying to push it out, but it doesn't biodegrade, so it can't. 80% of our garbage will eventually go to the ocean, and it is hopefully going to set me up for some sort of retirement. Plus, I was very blessed to buy a house at 24, but I had to make a hard call, and I only do USA made products because I want to support the economy that I love and I live in. And I also want to support small businesses. To make money, you have to pay money, and there is truth to that.
What is a thought that keeps you up at night? Your knockouts. Welcome to Thoughts That Keep Me Up at Night with Kin. I'm Kin. If you are new here, welcome. It's so lovely to see you, and I hope that you really enjoy what we have in store for you tonight. However, I must warn you, tonight's episode is a little bit different than how we regularly do things. For those of you who are returning, you may have been wondering where I've been. I've been a little MIA, and if you were waiting for my upload last week and were disappointed, I'm so sorry. But to be completely honest with you, I have been traveling, and on top of that, we recently added a new member of our family. I will pop up a picture right here, but of course, he has been taking a lot of our time, so I have not really been in it to win it like I should be. However, I am not going to be traveling for the next month or two, so that should give me plenty of time to dig back into my content, catch up, get ahead, and be there for you guys consistently like I want to be. If you were tuned in last week, you know that we talked about value. Not just value, but our value. How we determine it, what it means to us, and how to potentially build down an existing system to rebuild it from scratch. This week is our very first ever Sleepy Session, a segment of thoughts where we sit down and interview someone we feel really truly emanates the message of this podcast and has the drive and the mission to match. This week, we are going to kick it off by interviewing the CEO and founder of B0 Plastic. Now, you may know already, B0 Plastic is indeed my sponsor, and full transparency, I have a relationship with the founder outside of the podcasting world. They are someone very close to me, and I have had the absolute honor of having a front row seat to watching them build their business from scratch and just move through all the hurdles and achievements and stagnations and all of the things that it takes to start from the beginning, especially as a one-man team. I have watched her grow and evolve and expand her team and her products and her business to an enormous level in just a couple of years. So I'm excited to see what comes next for her. Anyway, enough rambling. I hope that you enjoy the first ever Sleepy Session with B0 Plastic.
It was this Instagram thing of this pig, and they were putting the pig on a diet, and they paid for the dog thing, you know, that they tap and the dog talks to you.
The buttons.
So the pig had the button options too.
They're smart. They're very smart animals.
Totally knew what they were saying it was mad that it was on a diet. When every time the parents were talking to it, he was like answered with a correct response. It was funny.
Dogs, certain breeds of dogs are very intelligent too. Like I've been watching one with the poodle, and
Poodles are super
they are like literally making full sentences, and it's just like crazy. Dang!
I want to see the one with the full sentence. Okay.
I know, that would be funny. Kia ora, knockouts, and welcome back to Thoughts That Keep Me Up at Night. Tonight, for our very first interview on the Sleepy Sessions, we are going to be talking about building a business from the ground up, and not just any business, but a business with a mission to save our planet. And with us today, we have not only my sponsor, but the CEO and founder of B0 Plastic herself, Samantha Godwin. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm really glad that we could sit down and do this morning. I know that we both have a lot going on, so it just feels good to take a moment and be able to have a conversation. So thank you.
We're happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you. We are currently in her home and in this beautiful sunroom, and I just love it. It's wonderful.
My favorite room in the house. Took a lot to get here, but we're here.
So when I start my interviews, I like to ask two very real questions. And the first question is, how are you really?
I'm really good. Even with everything going on, I'm actually doing really good. I just had the best season of my business this summer, and I worked really hard, and I think hard work always pays off, and it did.
What have you been up to recently?
Personally or in my business?
Both.
My business, I just did the Avenue Market. If you've never checked it out, it's really cool. It's on 8th Avenue of the middle of September, and it's 250 different venues and 10,000 people and live music, and it was so much fun. And I got up at 5 in the morning and worked until 7, and it was exhausting but awesome. Good people. And then I also did a Brighton flea market, and this makes me really excited because it makes me realize I'm ready for Park City, which is what I'm going to be doing next summer.
That's so exciting. I love that festival. If you're not in Utah, you won't know what Park City is, but it is an amazing arts festival that Park City puts on every year, and it happens, I think, what is it, like 3 months out of the year? July, August, September, I think.
On Sundays.
On Sundays, yeah. And it's fantastic. So if you're ever in town, be sure to go to Park City and hit up that arts festival. Now, just so that everyone can get to know you a little bit better, we're going to just start with some background questions. Starting with, where did you grow up?
I grew up here in Salt Lake City. Woo woo. No, it was a really small town when I was a kid, and it's very, very different now. But born and raised, I'm a Utah girl through and through, and I love the mountains. I'm a nature girl. I go up every day and hike, usually.
That's pretty much like the entire culture of Salt Lake is we're all outdoorsy people. We either work in corporate or we're out in the mountains. Like I feel like we don't really have a gray area here in the sense of hobby. Like people are either outside or in an office. How old do you think you were when you realized that you wanted to own a business? When you realized that you wanted to work for yourself and yourself only?
I never knew what I was. I was an entrepreneur at heart, but I didn't realize it at all. I got a really good shot with Ken's mom, and I started a house cleaning company with her and ran that for 25 years. And then I also was in the industry for restaurants and serving, and I learned customer service through the industry. And then I realized that I was my own entrepreneur as a server because I only made money off of tips. And I just learned how to be better at talking to people so they wanted to give me more money.
I mean, hey, that's all about marketing, right? Like, isn't that the whole point?
Yeah. And then I decided I wanted to start a business doing jewelry. And I did a jewelry business for a very short period of time. And then I didn't do anything for a while. And this came about 2 years ago now.
Do you feel like your childhood has an effect on how you run your business or any of the decisions that you made growing into becoming a founder?
I think work ethic has a lot to do with it. Not everyone should own a business. It's really, really hard to make yourself accountable when you're tired and you don't want to do something.
Especially if you're a one-man team.
And so with my background, because I couldn't call in sick as a server or as a owner or house cleaner, I made myself do the work. And so now, even when I'm exhausted, I make myself do the work, and not a lot of people can do that. So if you can't do that, then you might not want to own a business.
That's actually really good advice. I would agree with that entirely. And even as someone who went to school for business and marketing, I still have that opinion where it's just like, if you're not willing to put in the effort and do the time and not get paid for the time that you put in, yeah, you should probably stick to your 9 to 5.
Remember, no one sees the 90% behind the scenes. When you go to the coffee shop or you go and buy something from the store, remember how many hands touched that product before you received it, how much work got before you even got to the market. So
That's cool.
I'm
All
just finally getting the rewards of that 90% after 2 years and growing.
I know you mentioned my mom obviously is a supporter. Do you feel like any other family members really rally behind you and support you in your goals?
Well, your mom gave me the job as a house cleaner, which is what she offered me as this amazing opportunity to make a lot of money and learn a new trade. But no, a lot of my families and friends support me, and as the knowledge of plastic issues are coming to a head more and more, and people aren't so ignorant, more people are jumping on the train just because of their own health.
Which is a good cause, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. We always ask that question because I think it's important for viewers and listeners to know that a support system is a huge part of creating a business. And even if you're a one-man team, you're never truly doing it alone.
Never.
And you're always going to need people to rely on or rally off of, or just be there when you're freaking exhausted and just done with everything.
It's amazing how much a cheerleader helps you when you're on your lows, because even when someone just says you're doing a good job, it makes a big difference.
It does. It really does. Like, even just that simple sentence from a stranger can make a big difference.
Sometimes that's even more valuable.
I would agree. I agree, absolutely. So we're going to get into the nitty-gritty of your business now. And I want to know, in a summed up way, how you feel building a business from the ground up. Like, what was that experience for you?
My biggest challenge was my own self, my own ego, and knowing if I could be capable of doing a good enough job or even succeeding. Another big thing for me is failure. Like, what if I failed, and would that be okay? And another thing, I've had a lot of really good mentors and other business people along the way give me really good advice, and one of that was work from back to front. So once I understood where I wanted to go, it helped me figure out the steps of how to get there.
And would you say that that was part of your biggest motivation, or did you have a very specific thing that was your biggest motivation?
Oh, the reason why B0 Plastic became in the first place is because I'm a huge nature person, as I said, and nature is everything. And within nature, we have to give back to nature. She's dying and we're destroying her. And I watched some little documentaries about plastic, and Plastic Ocean is a really good one if you haven't seen it yet. And I realized I want to give back, and I wanted to change some little things that I could do in my everyday life with my zero plastic use. And none of the products I ordered worked, and on top of it, shipping was as much as the product. Super frustrating, and I kind of stopped for like 6 months, even trying. And then I realized that there's a need for someone to research these products, make sure they work, and have it all come in one basket and one box to your door, so you don't have to put so much effort in. Like, we are a lazy species. We are convenient, and we need it to be easy. So that's where B0 Plastic came from. That was my idea, is that it's not only easy to order off my website, but everything works. I've tried it all, and it is amazing, and I still use it now after a year and a half. I love all my products. So that's how B0 Plastic became an entity.
I mean, that's pretty straightforward backstory, if you ask me. Like, it's just like pretty black and white. And I would take that as a privilege, because not everyone has a clear direction or clear motivation for what they're doing, which can potentially lead to unhappiness and, you know, letting boredom be a hindrance instead of a moment for innovation?
Well, it's funny that you say that, Kin, because I meditate often. So when I say I pray, I'm meditating, talking to my higher good. And that higher good said it took years for me to figure out something that my purpose that I align to, because you can't just start a business if you don't align to the business. You have to figure out a way to cultivate it in your life, and you have to care about it enough that you're going to show up even when you're exhausted. So all of those things aligned for me, but it took me years to figure that out.
I honestly think that like any successful business owner would probably not defeat that. I think they would all feel that very similar in that. And the cost of things are expensive, and production and distribution, and I don't think that a lot of people on the consumer end understand every step it takes to get that product to them. And that brings up my next question. Do you feel any extra pressure in the e-commerce online space with large competitors like Amazon?
Yes, it doesn't even work the same way as it did 7 years ago. The whole dynamic has changed. So when you're really talking to someone that started their business 15 years ago, unless they've done the research and learned more of how our Instagram is working and all the algorithms and AI, then they're just not even someone you should waste your time with, because it's moving so fast.
So you'd say that you feel kind of like it's an arms race between you and like people who have more resources?
Yes. I mean, that's just going to always be something you need to look at when you open a business, though. As soon as you open your doors, you're hitting the ground running against massive different corporations and even small businesses. But that is part of our our economy. So I'm not scared. I believe that I can still succeed, but they definitely you have to be aware of them, and you should know their sales and what they're putting out and what your competition is.
And their shortcomings. I would say that's a tactical marketing advantage when you know your opponent's shortcomings.
Agreed.
Allegedly. Amazon, don't sue me. Now, I know that you have recently hired some members of your team, but other than CEO, what are some of the roles that you've had to play in constructing this business?
I mean, all of it. But what I realized with putting together my business is that the team is so important. Who your team matters more than your ego. So if it's not working for you, find another way, pivot. Don't get stuck in something or with somebody that is not available to be a good team. But I do everything. I do my payroll, my bills, my website, but the website design I've hired out. I've hired out taxes. I don't do my own taxes. I don't do...
Heck no.
Yeah, and my IT guy is amazing. He comes and helps me anytime I need, so I never feel abandoned or frustrated. And of course, everything is on Google, so you really can learn.
They call it Google.
Anything.
They call it Google University for a reason, I feel like.
Yeah, and so you just have to have the time and the patience to learn something new, because everything will be new, and there's always a fire to put out, and there's always a problem to solve, but you feel so good when you have purpose. And another thing I realized is that it's not about time. It's not about the outcome. It's about every step of every day. And that's what you should strive for. Like, what did I do today? And how did I accomplish being the best version of me?
I think that's one of the best ways to go about it. Chose integrity. I think integrity is a really huge part of a successful business. Mm-hmm. Like if you don't have integrity and you don't answer to the people that work for you and you don't answer the people that buy from you, then really what is the point?
Yeah, like no one is looking, and you are always your own best critic but best cheerleader, and give yourself a pat on the back every time you do something hard.
What are some of the ways that you spread awareness about your products and services?
Other than the shows that I've been doing, I'm doing email marketing, but not very well. I need to get better at it. And Facebook, Instagram, of course. And my next step will be Google Ads. But I'm going to continue doing winter market and Park Silly is a market as well in the summer. So that's how I'm going to continue getting my word out there. And of course, having amazing people like Ken to put my word out there as well, and people I can sponsor.
Along with Google Ads, is there any other ways that you plan on expanding your reach?
I mean, I would love to expand somewhere within boutiques, hotels, and getting my products out to the masses to actually really help 80% of Americans switch from zero plastic products, reusable products. Within, 5 years would be amazing. I shouldn't shoot too high, but...
Where do you feel the strongest as a business owner?
I love talking to people, so I do really well at the booths because I like to hear your story and where you're from and what issues you're having and if I can help you. So my strongest suit is communication and sales for sure, but I'm getting very good at the Facebook, Instagram posts, etc. So baby steps. Everything is a baby step. Everything is a learning lesson.
This is true. Where do you feel the weakest?
I think I am the weakest at digital marketing, but I am learning it this year. That is my goal.
It's always good to assess your weakness and then improve on it. 1%, 100 days is 100%. What specifically about this industry, meaning e-commerce, consumerism, products, are you really looking to change and why?
If I could get people to be aware of their plastic consumption and how it's toxic to their body and hurting themselves by using plastic, because that is what happens. Let me just break it down for the person that doesn't know what I'm talking about. Forever plastics are plastics that come from any plastic that is made, and slowly it breaks down and it gets into our ecosystem. We're breathing it gets into our hair, lungs, organs, blood. And eventually it compounds. And what happens is it's so small, the body's trying to push it out, but it doesn't biodegrade, so it can't. And so the body forms a little sore around the forever plastic, this tiny, tiny microplastic you can't see unless it's under a scope. And so it's a constant, every day your body's trying to fight a foreign object in the body, but the body cannot release it. So eventually you get an autoimmune disorder and you literally can never get it out of the system. So our goal to stop using forever plastics, don't ever eat with it, don't ever put it in the microwave and heat up your food. Don't drink out of plastic water bottles that have been sitting in the hot and cold. These are just basic things that you can do right now to help you right now. And as we slowly get these out of our system and out of our economy, our daily use of plastics need to be non-existent. We need to be able to go to restaurants and have either bamboo utensils used or reusable utensils, things that aren't recycled. Like even recycling does not stop the forever plastic going into the body. So it's not even about recycling these plastics anymore. Babies are being born with forever plastics, and kids are not being born because of the reproductive issues that men and women are having. So it goes on both sides. People are dying of cancer at the age of 20 for no reason other than horrible air, plastic issues, and of course water that is being not treated properly as well. But with all of these studies coming out, they're showing that forever plastics is way, way worse than we even imagined. So I personally would love to just get plastics out of the basic to-goes. Like, if we could just do that, that would not only help us so much, but you would be keeping so much out of the oceans. And the landfills, 80%, even though we're an inland city, 80% of our garbage will eventually go to the ocean. And eventually will be swimming. I mean, they did studies that every single ocean in the world had forever plastics. Everywhere you're swimming has forever plastics.
Do you have any plans to veer off into any other branches besides e-commerce?
I would like to eventually have a brick and mortar store, I think. I think it would help people, yeah.
Where they can physically come in and connect to the products and the message and things like that.
Yeah.
I'm a big pro advocate of brick and mortar. Everyone thinks that it's old school and the malls are dying, which technically they are, but that was because of the vid. That's like a whole thing. But
every product in there is horribly.
Yeah, that's true too. But I feel like fast fashion has kind of taken over the online space. But there's a lot of other companies out there like ThredUp and, you know, Stitch Fix and like other companies who are really trying to take secondhand clothing and repurpose it and make it more appealing so that, you know, we're not going through crappy materials and crappy things as quickly.
Don't quote me on this, but someone told me that we have enough clothes as is right now that if we stopped making any clothes for future generations, 6 generations would have enough clothes.
That's insane.
It really isn't.
That's a lot of people. That's a lot of time.
It's a lot of clothes. Like, what are we doing here?
I feel like the only problem, though, is that we make our clothes so cheaply that, like, would the material last that many generations?
Well, this is why you don't go to Walmart and buy your clothes. I mean, just yesterday I went to the mall and I went to Dillard's and Macy's. Macy's had a horrible product that was $40 cheaper but would probably last maybe a year. Why Dillard's had amazing shoes that were well made that would last me a decade. So you do have to be like, is the $20, $40 worth it? I always feel that it is, but I'm not telling you how to shop.
Well, it's complicated too because so many people struggle at price points, and it's just like, it's hard to get out of it when those are the only companies offering clothing at that price point. You know what I mean? And not everyone, I mean, you know, if you're an exception to this rule, I'm sorry. But not everyone thinks about it in the long term where they think that quality over quantity per se. It's more of like, well, I need this thing and I can only afford this and this is the person that has it. Which, if you think about it, that is consumerism. I mean, that's the pipeline of the mindset of people buying products. So I get it. But it's also like, as someone, I mean, guys, I'm no by means loaded. Like, I live off of a very modest amount of money per month, but I'm still someone who will take my time, and I'd rather spend that $40, $50, $60 on something that I know is going to last me 5, 6, 7, 8, possibly 10 years than consistently recycle every year because I've spent $20. Mm-hmm. So I definitely agree with that.
And I got these amazing shoes thrifted for $7. I've now had them for 4 years.
I'm a huge fan of thrifting, and this is also like a whole other sideline that we could go down, but I'm just going to say that my only qualm with thrifting is I feel like it's become kind of a culture, and so they've like upped the prices now on things that don't need to be as expensive as they are, and the whole point of thrifting is to get something at like a decent rate of money that's secondhand. So I think the idea of marking up a secondhand item to more than something brand new is kind of ridiculous and impractical, and I think that's why a lot of people turn away from thrifting, is because of that culture that has kind of become.
There are definitely stores like that, but not all of them are like that.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. And especially local, like if you look at your local thrifting stores, you know, you're probably going to get much more economical value. Mm-hmm. It's the more popular thrifting stores that have like more of a reputation that people tend to spend more money on.
Yeah.
Do you have a retirement plan? Do you have your future set up in that way? And if so, what is it?
A long time ago, I had someone come to me and said I really need to set up an IRA account, which is technically it's just like an investment for your future through the stock market, which is what a 401k is. But I don't do it through a business. You can do it. Anyone can open one. I personally have a Roth, which is where I pay my taxes when I put my money in.
Roth IRAs are great.
And it is hopefully going to set me up for some sort of retirement. Mm-hmm. Plus, I was very blessed to buy a house at 24. So I have my beautiful little home.
And it is a beautiful home. And she's put a lot of work into it. I've seen this home from when she bought it to now, and she's done a lot of work, and it's a gorgeous home.
Thank you.
And I'm going to kind of piggyback off of that and say that some good advice for anyone looking to start their company. There are 2 things you're going to want right away, you know, besides a business license. And that's going to be a high yield savings account and a Roth IRA. You're going to want to set those up immediately. Like the second that you have capital or money to move there, do it. It's worth it. Trust me. Now,
and feed all the amount that you can per year into it, which
Even if it's
$7,000,
yeah,
I believe.
I think is like the minimum, depending on, or that's
the
what
maximum for
the
each
maximum,
year.
yeah. Because how much you make and how much you contribute does have its caps, so you can only contribute so much. Now we've been talking a lot about products that we don't want to buy. So, what products do you sell specifically on your website?
Okay, so one of the biggest switches that I did that made a big difference in my happiness, like you guys, I didn't realize it until 6 months, maybe 8 months into it, but I am so much happier after switching to less plastic products. And one of my biggest one was toothpaste. I used to buy the Sensodyne for sensitive gums because mine were, and it is interesting because now I haven't used that Sensodyne for over 2 years now, and I have zero sensitivity, and my teeth are naturally whitened, and there's zero plastic, zero toxic. So that was a big one.
Zero fluoride.
Zero fluoride. And also my tongue scraper, it's like $15, but it actually massages your organs. It's amazing. You should scrape your tongue every morning. Another one that I love that has been a big changer is laundry detergent sheets. They're not all made equal, and I just have to say that with all these products, when you're like, oh, she said go try toothpaste tablets that you just pop in your mouth, there are certain ones that don't work. So just remember that. I sell Hubby. If you see Hubby, they're awesome. Canary is really good too, but laundry detergent sheets, if you have a rash or if you have skin issues or eczema, these are amazing. They're all natural, no toxic. They are $22, and it comes in a small little box like this for 100 loads. Super affordable, and you just do half a sheet, throw it in your laundry, and it just is amazing. It's a game changer for sure.
There's a lot of production going on overseas right now, and there's a hot debate on whether we should bring production back to the USA. But where do your products come from? Where do you source them?
Interesting, because remember, I started this before the Trump administration, so I didn't even think of the concept of overseas in that sense. I thought of the concept of overseas because of a economical and earth-friendly sense. So I wanted all my products to be USA, even though we are very far behind. Especially Europe has a lot of amazing products that they do. So does Canada. But I had to make a hard call, and I only do USA made products because I want to support the economy that I love and I live in, and I also want to support small businesses first and foremost, and then I want, of course, the planet to have less carbon. That's also where I use the post office. They're already coming to your house. It's the less carbon footprint for delivery.
So then would you say that your business model is more B2B or B2C, or a combination of both?
What does that mean, B2B?
B2B is business to business, and B2C is business to consumer.
I am definitely a business to consumer, but I go and market and research every product I sell. So I make sure that they are not greenwashed, they are at least a small company. A lot of them, I find out and make sure that they family, what do they love, what do they care about, so that you don't have to do it, because that's the whole point, is that we have so much misinformation out there. I want it to be easy for you. I want you to do it because you want to do it for you without having to worry about all of the stress and the nonsense of everything else going on.
Where can people go to find these products?
B0plastic.com.
Do you have any other platforms that they could go through? Instagram, Shopify?
I have an Instagram, B0plastic. I have Shopify, B0plastic. And I also have Facebook. You can go through all of those links.
I'm trying to talk her into getting a Substack, but we'll see. What are some of the expenses that you deal with quarterly with your business?
You have to pay out for all of these things. So I pay Shopify, I pay QuickBooks, I pay my credit card company to make everything linked to everything, and they're small fees. But they add up. So I personally have invested a lot of my own money into this. I'm not in the green yet, but they tell me that I need to wait at least 5 years to expect that. So I do have a side gig. Luckily, that helps me build my company and pay all my bills.
Do you know what your current spend to yield ratio is? Give
all
them an
of those
idea.
small fees are probably about $250 a month, so it equals, about $1,500 a year just to keep it up and running without any profit or like.
And your yield, and you said you weren't in the green quite yet, but are you breaking even, or would you say that you're still climbing?
After the summer, I might have broken even. I would have to double check my books.
I don't remember exactly who said the quote, but I heard a quote once that said that a balanced scale is like a reset. So even when you break even, it's just like a new beginning to continue to make profit.
It's true. And you have to that statement, to make money, you have to pay money. And there is truth to that, at least in what I chose to do.
I know you're very excited about changing the environment for the better, and that's one of your biggest passions, which is why we're sitting here right now. But if you had to narrow your scope to the most important environmental cause, and you could only rally around that one thing, what would you say would be the most important thing to you?
I really love Four Oceans. I supported them and do support them a lot. I think they're doing an amazing work.
So you'd say that clean oceans is like probably your number one priority?
My number one priority is recycling honestly, if I could change anything, any company that was putting out a plastic, anything, bottle, cup, fork, knife, would have to be responsible for the plastic pollution that they're putting out. So if that comes from a tax, if that comes from recycling it, if that comes from a certain type of program they put out, I believe that they need to start taking accountability for what they're putting out into our world.
I agree with you, absolutely. I especially think the big companies with the resources that are putting out what's causing problems should definitely be liable for the damages.
If we were all just liable for our own selves, wouldn't that change everything? Let's just go to that scale. Let's just start right there. Let's all be responsible for our own consumption. But don't get me wrong, I am not perfect at all.
I mean, no one is. We're all human here.
No one is.
Aside from zero waste products, what are some things that you think that people could do to help the process?
Spread awareness. Tell people why. Start having the conversation.
It all starts with a conversation. Communication is key, people. Communication is key.
And I know it's hard sometimes not to take things personal, but it never is. So just breathe through whatever reaction you get.
Now, as we close this out, I kind of want the people to get to know a more personal aspect of you. So how are you balancing your home and work life right now?
I am very blessed to have an amazing support system like we talked about earlier. So I go out with my girlfriends a lot, who I love dearly. And I hike with my dog. And I just make sure to write the things I really need down. And I try to be organized because it can be chaotic to know where to put your time and energy when you have to do it all. So to prioritize, I do 1 to 2 things every day that are for certain, like the business and then my own personal self. I schedule in my workouts, I schedule in my friend time, I schedule in the basic needs, I schedule in my lunch now. It has helped a lot.
What do you do to de-stress after a chaotic day?
Well, I quit drinking, so that's not what I do. I do hot yoga, and I love to go hiking. So those are and a hot bath. And I'm a little addicted to bad TV. Like, not bad. I watch reruns of Friends, which is horrible because I've seen it like 3 times.
That's okay. I mean, it is a classic. It's a classic. And if you hate on Friends, we can't be friends. That's how I feel. So that's okay. We all have our guilty pleasures.
And those are mine.
So when you're not out hiking and you're not working, let's say you just have a free day, what do you tend to do?
I love going to the lake. I also like taking those hot baths, but I also am reading a really good book, which is crazy because it's about the Nazis, but it was the woman version and what we're going through right now. Anyway, I like to read.
Reading is good. Educate yourselves. It's important.
Yeah, and not bad TV, you know. I'll do both of those.
You have to have balance. What does your self-care routine look like on a daily basis?
So I have this amazing oil that I make on my website, and it's a face oil, and I will wake up and I will scrape my tongue and I'll put up my hair and put my face oil all over, and then I have an amazing tea that I make, and I take my mornings slow. So I really like to wake up and meditate and not do much of anything for the first hour, and then after that I'll check my schedule, my email, figure out what I'm doing that day. But my meditation has changed my world. I will never not do that, and I need it in my life. So that's my morning. Oh, premenopausal women especially, or women that have really bad cramps. A fun thing that I found about a year ago that my friend recommended was ghee. So I take ghee and I put it in hot water, and that's the first thing I drink every morning, just a teaspoon, and it has helped me lose weight. It has helped with less cramps, and it's helped me a lot.
I've heard a lot of good things about whey and ghee specifically, and the different ways that you can use them, like in your daily diet.
Yeah, good things. What it does is it gives moisture from the inside out. So it's giving because your brain needs fat, and then it usually is what's taking up most of it, and then it needs, all your organs need that fat to run properly, just like a machine.
Agreed. Now, obviously, body health is very important to you, and emotional health as well. But do you struggle with any mental health issues?
No, of course I get depressed like everyone. I was a major alcoholic for a while, so that was a roller coaster in its own right. But
I feel like addiction is a mental health syndrome in and of itself.
I quit drinking through my meditation. It was amazing. I know I'm very blessed. When I feel depressed or when my mind is going into a rabbit hole of negativity, I reach for my gratitude, and I pick 5 things that I'm going to be grateful for that day. And it kind of gets me out of my mood. But I also love a book. I almost use it as a Bible. It's called Ask and It Is Given by Hicks, and it was written in the 80s, and I love it. And it's all about ways to change your mental stability.
How have your life experiences from the time you were 16 or 17 to now affected your mission and the way that you operate both your business and your daily decisions?
When I was a kid, I played a victim role because of things that happened in my childhood, and I realized that victim role didn't serve me, and I needed to take responsibility for everything that came up in my life. And so that has really helped me to show up for myself and make better decisions for my direction in life.
I think that's a good answer.
Oh, good.
That's very retrospective. Sorry, I can't scroll anymore, and that's how I was keeping track of my questions. How do you feel about the progress you've made on your current journey?
If you were to ask me a year ago, I'm not far enough, but I realized that it's not the destination, it is the ride. So I'm just trying to give myself compassion for how hard I have worked and show up every day.
I think that's all we can do, right? As long as we're here.
Let's not stress so much that we hate our life, is kind of what I figured out.
That's fair. That's a good point. I think that should be the main goal for everyone, regardless of where you're at in life.
Yeah.
How do you feel younger Sam would react if she could see who you are today and where you're at?
She would never have believed it.
I don't think so. Now, as we wrap the show, I'm just going to ask you 3 questions about what's next for you, okay?
Okay.
What is your plan for 2026 and Be Zero Plastic?
To learn digital marketing, or at least get better at it, because I know it. I just need to get better. And hopefully to get a piece of a warehouse. I'm looking for maybe to share a warehouse with somebody. And get into Park Silly.
That's fair. I think those are good goals.
That's another thing about goals, is don't make them so that you can't achieve them. It's setting yourself up for failure.
Is that the advice that you would give someone on a comparative path?
Yes.
Okay. With the final question, it's a question I ask all my guests. What is a thought that keeps you up at night?
If they're going to put water into the north arm of the Great Salt Lake and save where I live.
It's an important issue. It may not feel like an important issue if you don't live in Utah, but believe me, for anyone on the west side of the country, it's an important issue.
West side, all of the west, Nevada, California, it's all being affected.
From the Intermountain West to the West Coast. Yeah, it's a big thing. And if you have no idea what the heck we're talking about, I suggest you pull out the magical teleportation device to all information in the universe and figure that out for yourself, because it's important.
Grow the flow. Or another good one is Sierra Club, but I also really like, I donate to them, and now it's not coming to me.
The one company that she donates to.
I donate to 3. No, 2.
Insert logo here.
Earth Justice. Justice is the one to do. Yeah.
There you go. There are a lot of good. Hey,
they actually sue the companies, so they're actually getting results, which I appreciate.
And who is this?
Earth Justice.
Earth Justice. Okay. Well, now you know. Well, thank you for being here today, and I really enjoyed this conversation. And I hope you guys did too. And as for you guys, thank you so much for tuning in and supporting this podcast. And thank you for being our sponsor and helping make this podcast happen. It is a pleasure to work with you as always. Thank you so much for joining me, and I really hope you enjoyed that conversation and got a better look into Samantha's head and what she's thinking, what she's aiming for, and the amount of drive and passion she truly has for something that I feel is very important. I'm so excited to see how she grows in the future, and I'm again honored that she's willing to sponsor me and work with me through all of this madness that is 2025. And while we're on the topic, just a quick reminder, if you use the QR code right here, you can get 10% off your very first order at bezeroplastic.com. A really sustainable, consistent way to switch from wasteful products to zero waste. Next week, we will be diving in to the creepy crawly topics that will kick off the next 3 weeks of October. So I hope that you're excited for some conspiracy theories, some paranormal, and of course, some hauntings. I really hope to see you there. And please, 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 if you have not already, hit that subscribe button. It really supports the channel, this podcast, my sponsor, and everyone in between. And I can't tell you enough how far it really goes. As for the episodes, if you want a reminder of when they drop, Thursdays at 6 p.m., you are more than welcome to hit that little notification bell and YouTube will let you know. Until then, I hope you grab your sage, your garlic, and whisper your prayers, because we are going to head into All Hallows Eve. On that note, say hey to the dark side.